today I want to walk you through what ToneGym is, what ToneGym does. Now, ToneGym are sponsoring this video, but ToneGym is a service which I would fully recommend even if they weren't paying me to say it, because it really is an amazing tool for improving your ear, and it makes it really fun. It's a really great way of gamifying ear training. So, as I just mentioned, ToneGym is a set of tools, a set of games that improve your ear. They are an opportunity to improve your ear's ability to identify things about music. So, for example, they have tools to help you identify intervals by ear, to identify chords by ear, to identify rhythms and time signatures, inversions. They even have tools for improving your sight reading. And all of these tools are made into really fun games where you progress through different difficulty levels and build your skills up as you go. So, as you can see here, we've got a whole range of different games, each focusing on a different aspect of ear training. Let's work our way through a few of these and give you a sense of how they work. So let's start with this one, which is intervalis, which is when they play you a musical interval, but crucially, the two notes are played at the same time. So you're identifying a harmonic interval rather than a melodic interval, which I think is actually harder. Let's give it a go. Okay, so as you can see, they give us, on this level at least, just two options to choose from, a fourth or an octave. That is an octave. Okay, so that one is a fourth, and you can hear, if you compare the sound of this one to the previous one, this has got a sort of thicker sound. The thing is, a fourth and an octave both have that consonant at rest sound, but the octave is just that bit more consonant. It's purer, clearer. Okay, that is an octave again, but you can see they've given us another interval to choose from, and they're purposefully choosing intervals that are commonly confused. These three intervals are all very consonant sounding. There are perfect intervals. So, particularly out of context like this, they can easily be confused. Okay. Oh, God. I should have listened twice. As I was clicking that, I did start doubting myself. But you can see that the thing is, these intervals all have a very similar tone to each other, so it starts becoming harder to identify which one it is. Oh, God, I did it again. Right, come on, let's earn back our respect of our viewers by getting a few of these right. Oh, yeah, I'm second guessing myself. Particularly fifths. Oh, I was literally about to say, particularly fifths and fourths. I have a habit of getting mixed up because, as I've talked about before, they're actually sort of inversions of each other. They're very similar intervals. That was a pretty shambolic performance of that. Let's do this again. This is the point of ear training, right? To improve. So let's improve. Oh, I really was thinking about the fifth there. Let's play that one again. I finally cleared it. Let's have a look at one of the other tools. So that was intervalis, where you get played two notes simultaneously. Let's do departures, where you get played an interval, but you get played a melodic interval. So one note followed by another. And this one is explicitly ascending intervals. So we'll get played a lower note, and then we'll get played a higher note, and we have to identify what the interval is between them. All right. So I've talked about interval ear training before in a video I did, where I gave examples of little memorable melodies. Let's do that one again. Oh no! See, this is what happens when I start talking. What I'm trying to say is that even though I've been playing music for years, I still think about these melodies in my head as references for intervals. So this one, for example, to me that sounds like Auld Lang Syne. It just helps reaffirm what the interval is, because I know that the first two notes of Auld Lang Syne are a perfect fourth. So this is another technique, is singing in the interval. I always find this is quite helpful because it helps you almost fill the space between the two notes. So by singing this interval, ooh, 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 I can get a sense of how many notes are in between that. Ooh, ooh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So the top note there is the fifth. Somewhere over the rainbow. Cool. So that is easier, I think. Sequential intervals. So that's ascending intervals. There is also Lander here, which is a similar game, but this time they're descending, which I think is marginally harder, actually. Let's give this a go. Okay, so they've actually got the option here of a unison, what they've called a perfect one, a perfect first, I guess. Personally, I don't think of a unison as an interval, because an interval is surely the gap between two notes, and two notes that are in unison have no gap between them. That's why they're in unison. So it's not an interval, but that's what they're looking for. So let's give it to them. So that's the fifth. So the reference I use for the descending fifth is the bass line from My Girl by the Temptations. Do 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 do. That's an octave. Definitely a little bit harder descending. Not really sure why, but it's harder to latch on to the exact interval. Okay. Wait, I'm second guessing myself now. So there, I couldn't quite. I thought my impulse was that it was the fourth, but I wasn't completely sure. So singing it was a good way for me to test how many notes were actually between those two notes, concluding that it was a fourth. So those are intervals. Let's try something else. Let's do chords. So root 6, this game here, will play you a chord progression and you have to identify what it is. Now how it works is they start by playing you a little arpeggio to set the key center, and then they'll play you the chord progression that you're meant to identify. So that first bit, do 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 do, which sounds suspiciously like the Blue Danube, that was not the bit we're meant to be identifying. The bit we're meant to identify is the last two chords that we hear. That bit. And in this instance, they're actually inversions of the same chord, which is what this option here is, 1 moving to 1. Sort of doesn't quite tell you all the information you might want to know, because in this Roman numeral representation, it doesn't actually mention that the interval has changed, but that is what's happening there. Same again. So this time it's... Oh no! God, I don't know how I got that wrong. I'm so confident as well. So far, they're all inversions. So this time we're given, we're not given the 1 chord first. So far, all the examples prior, the 1 chord was the first chord. Now we're choosing between whether it's 5 moving to 1 or 4 moving to 1. And it's 5 moving to 1. Okay, yes, I started to doubt myself there, but that is it, correct. Ooh, 3 chords. Yeah, oh, started doubting myself again. Cool. So you get a sense there of how these games get harder as you progress. During the course of that one, we went from just choosing between inversions and chord movement to choosing between different cadences, and then eventually we had 3 chords in the progression. Okay, let's do this one here. This is Scale Spy. This is where they play you a scale, and you have to identify what that scale is. There, so at this point, we're just choosing between major and minor. It was descending that time, which certainly makes it a little bit harder. But the thing is, because we're choosing just between major and minor, it only takes a few notes to identify what it is. Now this is interesting, because now it's not major versus minor, it's minor versus different minor, and that makes you have to pay a bit more attention. In this instance, it's the harmonic minor. So harmonic minor again. In case you're wondering what they mean by jazz melodic minor, that basically just is the melodic minor. But the thing is, in classical music, the melodic minor is considered to be a different scale, ascending and descending. It has different notes. In jazz, it's treated just in its ascending form, hence why they've specified jazz. There's our jazz melodic minor. Oh no! Keep getting too confident. So there I had to wait to the end of the scale to hear whether it's the harmonic minor or the natural minor. But it is the harmonic minor. Cool. Alright, this time let's do... Where's the one I wanted to do? Here it is. Don't know how to pronounce that. Chordilus. Effectively what this is they'll play you a chord and you have to identify what type of chord it is. Is it major? Is it minor? Is it diminished? Etc. So right now, because we're just choosing between major and minor, didn't really hear that, it's relatively straightforward. But later, oh, I've actually done it now, you start getting other types of chord in there. So this is one of the harder selections between diminished and minor because they're only one note different from each other and sometimes can sound similar. I think the thing is, though, in this game at least, it's fairly straightforward, at least to my ears, which type of chord it is. Okay, so the last game I'd like to do isn't really ear training, but it's still super valuable. It's this one here, Notationist. This is a sight reading game. And what happens is they will show you a note on the notation, and you have a limited amount of time to identify what that note is. So here it comes. What is that note? It is E. C. So as you can see at the moment, we're given quite a lot of time to work out what it is before it reaches that zone on the other side. But it does start to get faster. And as you can see, right now we're only choosing between a couple of options. But as you progress through the levels, they'll give you more notes to choose from. Cool. So I said that was going to be the last one. What I thought we could do actually before we finish is see if I can get a perfect round on Intervalis, which was the game we started with, because I'm still quite annoyed that I didn't get a perfect round on it. For this though, I am going to focus. I'm going to concentrate. So that means I'm not going to talk. Oh, thank goodness, did it. There was a moment there where I almost clicked the wrong one, but we got away with it. And you also may have noticed there that as we went through, they started introducing the major third as an option, although we didn't actually get to listen to one. But you can see how they slowly introduce other options, other things to choose from, just gradually making it harder. But I think that's really great. I think it's a great way of easing you into things. So that's it. That's ToneGym. We've played a lot of different games there, but there's still plenty more that I didn't do. And ToneGym comes with these other tools here, like the like an interactive circle of fifths or a scale analyzer. Just really interesting, useful stuff. This really is the sort of website that I wish I had when I was first learning music, because I think it would have made it a lot more accessible and enjoyable to do ear training. So yeah, I definitely recommend this. As I said before, this is a sponsored video, but I do genuinely recommend this service as a great way of training your ear and just becoming a more competent musician. Let me know in the comments how you got on with any of this ear training, and there will be links in the description if you're interested in trying ToneGym out.